What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Her Lounge podcast. If y'all are wondering what happened, why is this episode so late? Well, sometimes the schedules get a little crazy. So Rob wasn't able to, then I couldn't because I had to be at the store. But today we're making it happen. So they'll begin this episode at night, Rob,
Yeah,
or
it'll be
Thursday?
tonight. Yeah, it'll be tonight.
Okay.
So this is the
So
day that it drops.
So, all right. So there you go, guys. And before we get started, y'all know I like to start off with a positive quote. There's a reason why I'm going to read this quote, just so you know. At the end of the day, I'm a good woman. I'm not perfect by any means, but my intentions are good. My heart is pure, and I love hard with everything I've got. And because of those things, I'm worth it. Always have been and always will be. Boom.
Okay. Let's mic drop it here. I got a mic right here. We're gonna drop
there
it.
You go. So funny thing, yesterday I had a meeting with Ilse in regards to my social media. So I think I told you guys a while back, and I've even kind of even said it on if you watch my my blogs, I've kind of said that I have like a love-hate relationship with social media right now, and because that's how I run my business, you know, I don't have a choice. So that's kind of how, you know, I have to, like, unfortunately promote and be on there. And a lot of that has to do with my physical appearance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not used to being this heavy. You know, I went from, obviously, if you've been a follower since I was on, I'm sorry, since I taught Zumba, you know me from those days, which is, that's early on. We're talking about 2011. You know what I'm saying? So if you've been with me since then, you've pretty much witnessed my journey. And so not being where I used to be is an issue. So yesterday when I was talking to Issa, she made a comment, which is funny because I preach about, like, oh yeah, I don't like want to, like, don't follow anybody that gives you negative, you know, vibes, or don't do this because, you know, it's negative vibes. But she said, have you ever done the whys test? I said, no. What do you mean? She's like, why you do this? Why is that? Why are you like this? I said, no, I haven't. She goes, a lot of times people have a hate relationship with social media for many reasons. She's like, some people have it because perhaps they're so overseen, like your high school friends or like people that you know from the past who are just like toxic, and you don't like, you're like, oh my God. So a lot of people get off of Facebook or get off of social media, period, because they can't stand to see what's happening. She's like, in your case, I think you consume a lot of news, which is funny because I'm not really sure how she knows that, but she did. She's like, I think you consume a lot of news. So for you, you've now, basically, I've now associated social media with negativity versus before it was my way of, like, you know, promoting, showing you workout videos, showing you my process of where I was, perhaps a glimpse of like a Zumba routine or whatever it was, like if you've been following that long ago, right? So I was like, is that the case? So I decided to go onto my social media. And I don't know if you've ever used that app, Rob. It's a social media, like a account cleanser, where you can just unfollow a shitload of people at the same time. Like,
a long time ago, yeah.
Okay, so I said, let me go on there just to see who all I'm following, just to see if that is the case. And I realized how many political accounts I follow, to where, you know how I'm always saying, man, everything just stresses me out. If you're not paying attention, you know, you need to start paying attention. What bubble are you under? And, you know, a lot of my frustration comes from, like, you know, as a parent. I mean, you can probably you know, agree with me here. It's like, you worry for your children. What are their future going to be like? What's their future going to be like? You know, you hear that they're going to be the most illiterate bunch of graduates. You know what I'm saying? And that's scary. You know what I'm saying? To hear something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want my kids to grow up with a bunch of illiterates. You know what I'm saying? And it's like all these things run, and she's not a parent yet, right? And so maybe she doesn't understand why the worry, because you're not a parent. But I feel like when you become a parent, in addition to being a woman, in addition to being a wife, in addition to being an entrepreneur, it's like it's a lot of consumption. So I went on there yesterday and decided to just not follow a lot of social media people, and I mean, I'm sorry, political people, and unfollowed a lot of it. And if it's not on YouTube, I've decided that I'm just not going to watch it, because that's kind of where I get my news from, you know. So I'll go on there to watch whoever I watch whenever I need to get my news, and call it a day, because I do need to get back on my social media game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have so many graphics that she's made from new drops that I'm dropping. Ask me if I posted any of them. I don't care to go on social media. I hate it. It's so stupid. And that's probably why. It's because every time you get on there, and she was saying, she's like, I don't follow. I mean, she gets her news from Apple News.
How old is she again?
Maybe 25.
Okay, I was gonna say mid-20s, right? And that's
yeah.
I met Ilsa several times. She's the sweetest. She's super kind,
yeah.
super cool. But you know, there's that gap in like how fundamentally important she thinks that stuff is versus, you know, just nonsense. And to her, I know a lot of it's just like, it's just kind of and I understand that point too. Like, it's noise, it gets distracting, it puts you in a certain dark place sometimes, and it's true. But anyway, carry on. So yeah, so she gets it from Apple.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think when you become a parent, because we've talked about this in the past, where I've said like, oh, I didn't care about politics before because it didn't affect me. I still had to pay bills, like I said. I still had to pay taxes. I still had everything else had to continue to run, because you just have to continue to run. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, what's going on in the world doesn't affect me at all, but it does, you know, and in a lot of ways that we don't even realize it, whether that be with groceries, you know what I'm saying, whether that be with whatever the case may be, it's, you know, it is an issue. So while she did make a great point, she also doesn't see it from a parent point of view, which I completely understand. She sees it from a business point of view, and we need to get on it because you're on a mission. And so, like, a lot of times being vulnerable is not my forte. I don't like it. I don't like to not so much not show weakness on social media, but it's like there's already so much weak as you know what on there. It's like, why show you one more? You know what I'm saying? Versus just kind of rather, I'm gonna pump myself up by posting this on social media, so I hope that I can pump you up as well, right? And that's kind of always been my niche, you know what I'm saying, is encouragement, motivation. I've never dwelled on, you know, it's like that question that was asked to me at my last speaking engagement. It was like, have you ever felt like you needed to quit? And when I said no, and everybody was like, took a deep breath, like, what do you mean? It's like, well, because every problem has a solution. So it's like, so you are feeling like there's something going wrong with your business, instead of giving up, you know what I'm saying, you find a solution. So it's funny because when I was sitting there with Ethan, I was telling her that I was like, I don't want to give up on social media. So I'm having this consultation with you so that I can have a solution. I said, because I need a solution to this this love-hate relationship that I've been having lately, you know, and with, you know, a lot of stuff that's going on, you know, I'll be MIA for a little bit, like we talked in the past, because I'll be having surgery. So, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of stuff that impacts my life, I don't share it because there are some things that are personal, you know, but then it's like, but then are there women out there who are maybe going through the same thing and have nobody to kind of relate to, or have nobody, because everybody is into, you know, how did you contour your face today? You know what I'm saying? Did you get Botox? Which, by the way, I got Botox finally on my forehead, Rob.
What?
Can you tell?
No, it looks like as good as it always looks.
Yeah, see, I know. So I wanted to go as natural as possible. So I probably didn't do what she likes, what she called the freeze look, but I said that's okay. I want to still be able to move my eyebrows, and I still want to be able to have some kind of facial expression. But yeah, so like, everything is about beauty, 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 and in competition with somebody whose ass is bigger, you know what I'm saying? Whose ass is more natural? Did you get a tummy tuck? Look, you can tell it's a fake. She's had it because look at her belly button, which I never knew that's how you could tell if somebody's had a tummy tuck, by the way. So that was funny. And so, it's all those things all the time. Someone made a comment on my workout video, and I told people that's what's discouraging to me, right? It's like stuff like that, because I'm going to tell you two scenarios that happened to me, which makes me self-conscious, which makes me not want to put content out there until I am able to look the way that I'm not trying to be as tiny as I was before. I've already kind of said that. Like, I was super tiny, and for that age, I think that was great. But for right now at 41, I don't think being, you know what I'm saying, that itty bitty. I mean, I'll take it if it comes, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to be itty bitty like that. I'm just trying to be probably the way I look before I have to start cutting, if that makes sense. I just look like a fit person. That's it. And that's exactly what my goal is. It's just to look like a fit person. So someone said on there, don't take any offense or something like that. It's like, I hope this doesn't sound rude. She's like, but what happened to you? You used to be so fit. And then she says, are you still dealing with thyroid issue? And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't have thyroid issues, so I'm not sure if she meant fibroids.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? She said thyroid. Well, then here comes one of my HERR soldiers. I don't know who she is, but she came in defending, like, that's so rude. And then this girl was like, did you read the first part of the sentence? I said, I don't mean to be rude. You know what I'm saying? And so like they're arguing on there. So that was that. And then I was at the gym last week because I'm trying to get in as much gym as possible before I have my surgery, because I won't be able to do a lot of stuff. And she goes, I was at the leg press machine, and she comes up to me and she goes, hey, you're Mighty Swole Lips, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I was telling my daughter how fit you used to be. And I just said, man, I can't imagine going up to someone and telling someone that. Can you?
No.
I don't know that I don't
No,
know
no,
that I can
no.
do that. I don't know that I can go up to someone and be like, hey, I'm just gonna use Dana Lynn Bailey because I'm like her fan, right? I'm like a fan of hers.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like going up to her and being like, hey, what happened to your big shoulders? I remember you used to have like some huge like defined show. Can you imagine?
No,
Like,
we
I
have
can't
more
imagine
social
doing
awareness. We have more social awareness than that, I think.
I couldn't imagine like doing that. And she said, I was telling my daughter how fit you used to be, how you used to be a bodybuilder. And then I go into this mode, right? Which is always let me defend myself here. I'm like, yeah, I said, after I had my children, dealing with hormone issues, I'm dealing with, a lot of stuff. I said, and I probably could work a little bit harder at my nutrition. I said, but I'm still here. I don't miss a day of working out. You know what I'm saying? I still get, my blood flowing. I get my heart pumping. I take my vitamins. I drink my water. You know what I'm saying? It's like you kind of, I mean, I didn't say all that, but my point to that is like you start going through the list of like, wait a second, don't just think because I look like this right now, I'm not still doing like the things that I used to do, So I was telling Pete, I was like, it's stuff like that where you don't want to post shit on social media because it's like you get comments like that, or it's like, and I know that's the world we're in, right? I mean, you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there and you're kind of like, okay, and then you can't be mad when someone's asking you a question as to why you don't look like you did 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
that's a weird thing to say.
But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like that. Like, I'm also not somebody who will always like, I don't always like post my wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to show you my wins. I always feel like I'm here to just encourage you to make your own wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I see it. Like, I'm more of the person who wants to encourage you to win. I want to encourage you to like be more, do more, and not in a bad way to where you're so busy you don't have time for family. I'm just saying, like, want to thrive for, better. And that's kind of what, and I'm always like not wanting for people to go into that Latino, like, just I'm Latino and this is why I can't do stuff, and because I'm Hispanic a lot of things don't come my way. And I want us to, like, I do want to push so that that is not the way we think. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is not about Latino. You know what
No,
I'm saying? It's not about,
identity,
you shouldn't
identity.
even
Yeah.
want to be, you should just be. That's why sometimes I don't like to put that I like saying I'm female owned business, not Latina female. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to put that because I mean, I'll do it for the sake of like getting some grants, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, okay, I got to put it in there. But
You gotta play the game. You're playing the game.
yeah, exactly, right. So like, there's just certain things like I just want to encourage women to like get out of, you know what I'm saying? Get out of that victim mentality. Like, I'm female, like I'm underpaid. Well, you're probably underpaid because you're not fighting enough to be recognized. And if you're doing a better job than other men in your office, then maybe it's time for you to sit down and speak to whoever you need to speak to in regards to that. And if they don't see your value, then it's time for you to move on and find a job that is going to value you and give you that money that you're asking for. Because if you bring something to the table and you actually have a skill, or, you're just top producer or whatever it is, no one wants to lose the top producer. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're male or female, I feel like if you're bringing money to my company, I don't care if you're male, female, trans, non-trans, you know what I'm saying? I need you to keep bringing me some money. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm concerned about. And if you're not performing, whether you're whatever, I'm going to kick you out. You're just not going to be part of my team. You know what I'm saying? So like, just little stuff like that. So, I guess like, the reason why this quote, the reason I said this quote is because of the fact that it's related to women, right? And so when it says, at the end of the day, I'm a good woman. So regardless of someone asking if I have a thyroid issue, regardless of someone saying, oh, she used to be a bodybuilder, you should have seen her before, I was like, man, did you just really to say that? I was like looking around the gym like, did she just interrupt my set to tell me I used to be fit? Did she really just do that? Like,
That should be enough like evidence to just like tell yourself like, okay, we have a lot of mentally ill people out there who will just walk up to you and say anything.
I was like, bro, seriously, like, I'm gonna need you not. You know what I'm saying? Like, not today. So anyway, so I thought that was kind of interesting because I think a lot of those, including myself, sometimes are in a place. I also read this other meme a while back, and it said something about like a lot of the pictures with her children when they were growing up, it's her with not in the picture, right? Because she never felt cute. Like, you know what I'm saying? She always felt too fat, or, you know what I'm saying? I'm not wearing no makeup or whatever it was. And so she had very little pictures of when they were little, right? During that mom transition of her and her kids. And she says that was one of her biggest regrets, you know what I'm saying, was, not taking pictures with her kids when they were little, regardless of what she looked like or what stage she was in life. And so basically her caption was like, don't forget that your kids are only this little for so long. So take the damn picture, even if you feel you're 800 pounds bigger than you used to be, even if you're not wearing makeup, like, take the picture. So although I won't share those pictures on social media, right? I do now take them on my phone and You know what I'm saying? And I make sure that, I am capturing those moments. So you are a good woman at the end of the day. I am a good woman at the end of the day. And it's just part of, I think, womanhood of, we're not perfect, we're not meant to be perfect. Like we're not meant to be Barbie. We're not meant to be Ken. You know what I'm saying? Like there's men now that are even out there getting their abs edged up, bro, like getting calf implants and chest pecs, you know and because they've fallen victim of the social media, influencer type thing, like I've got to look this way if I'm gonna get into somebody's DM, or what I'm saying. And that's like, we've become such a superficial type of society to where it's like, God, what if or sometimes if she would just like do this or do that, she'd be so pretty. Have you ever heard people say that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
If she just lost like 10 pounds, she would be so pretty. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I always think those little comments are funny. And I've been guilty of them. I'm not gonna act like I've never said something like that. Or, big girls that are pretty.
Hmm.
You're like, like there's a lot of big girls that I've seen that are pretty, like have
Oh
a
yeah.
very pretty face. And bro, they have the most confidence. Like they're not like, they are not worried about your opinion, or what anybody's like. I feels good. And you know what I'm saying? We need to have big girl energy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like be that be that confident, because I'm not even mad at it. I'm not even mad at it.
Yeah, I hope they're
So
doing something with their time though. Like if they like many other people that are worried about people's opinions of them and what they say, you spend a lot of time thinking about it, mulling it over. Man, that annoyed
mhm.
me, that upset me. So you're spending that time. If these big confident girls aren't wasting their time on that, I hope that they're using that time to be more efficient in something else. Right? They're
Yeah.
using it at something else because otherwise, what does it matter? Like there's just a false sense of confidence there, but you're not doing anything with the time you're saving, not worrying about people's opinions.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, they're on there trying to get an influencer deal for sure, because they is not worried about them. Like, for example, um, for the longest, the whole Botox thing for me was like, no, bro, I'm not doing that shit. Like, that is not like my thing. Like, I'm not into doing anything in my face. What if they f me up? The girl that I found though, she looked so normal from her face that I said, okay, this is going to be a person that's not just going to say, I want, like, if I wanted this or that, she's not going to be like, yeah, girl, let's do it. Because she looked so natural herself. I mean, she didn't look like anything. I mean, you could tell she's had a little bit of her lips, but literally it looks like the minimum, like, because she's not walking around like this,
Mhm.
excuse me. Anyway, and so I had made an appointment with her a while back when I met her. And then I marinated on it and I was like, what are you doing? Like, you're really going to go spend money on that? That's the dumbest thing you can do. Like, who does that? Like, we have to age. We all age. Just keep using your night creams. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I was telling myself. I kept trying to like talk myself out. So I rescheduled 2 appointments. And then finally I said, I'm going to go do it. Like, I'm going to go and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to be here and I'm just going to prevent these lines on my forehead, you know, before I get so old from the face, I just start to look crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then I did it and then I didn't see a difference. And then like 2 days later, I told Pete, I was like, bro, I was like, I feel like my face is like stretching, like it's doing this. He goes, what? I was like, yeah, I feel like somebody's pulling my like skin back, like it's like this. And he's like, I said, I don't know if that's normal. So I'm like texting her, I'm like, hey, is this feeling normal? I'm like, she goes, yeah, it's working. She says, remember I told you you won't see your results until about 2 days later. And sure enough, and then I text her, I said, bro, I am obsessed. Like, I love how smooth my forehead looks. Like, there's no lines left over from, all the expressions I've made throughout the day. But I'm gonna go on to this. There's this new series on Netflix. It's called Surrogacy, but it's like La Mujer de Alquiler, which is a surrogate mother in Spanish.
Mhm.
And so it's this series of this girl, and check this out, Rob, because it goes all into like all the stuff that's going on in the world today. For starters, this couple isn't able to have children, right? The guy comes from an insanely amount of money because his family comes from the pharmaceutical world. So they make pills and all sorts of stuff, right? And the mom is so wicked. But the mom, did your mom watch novelas growing up or not really?
She did. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, if you see this woman, you know who I'm talking about. Her name's Leticia Calderon.
Oh,
And she's always beautiful, always been beautiful. Well, she's an older lady now, right? And Rob, she is one of the first, I feel like, celebrities that I've seen that legit did the minimal on herself to be able to like age like just
gracefully.
beautifully. Not gracefully, beautifully, because she still looks beautiful. And it's almost like she got her Botox done where it was needed. She didn't do none of the cheek filler. She didn't do lip fillers. She still has her wrinkles around her mouth that shows you she still smiles. She still pouts. She still does, all the normal gestures that life does, and I was so focused on her look, I couldn't even like focus on the first part of the damn series. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, this lady has done a good job. Like she's aged so well, and like you can tell she's taken care of, because people just start looking crazy after they like get obsessed after like getting so much done to their face to where they start looking like a lion, like a cat lady, like their cheek starts to look like this. And if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm holding my cheek up. You know what I'm saying? Like just a bunch of stuff. But anyway, we're about to get political. You see what I'm talking about here? The crazy thing is that this pill that they produce, they know, and I forgot what the pill is for, to be honest with you, but the pill that they produce will cause some kind of like leg deformity to where they'll always be in a wheelchair or have some kind of treatment for the rest of their life. And they hire a like indigenous surrogate mother, right? And how they get her is they hold her dad hostage to make her say yes, that she will go ahead and carry their baby. Well, this whole lie, this one couple, and they're trying to get rid of them because they're out telling everybody that the pill that this company provides causes all these side effects to a baby when they're born. You know what I'm saying? To the point where it can kill a mother. And there's so many things out there that are happening right now that I've heard so much more people having issues, and it's tied back to we know what. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it trips me out, you know what I'm saying? Because man, like how many people have been like hurt or like injured because of some sort of medication they've taken, like all those side effects, like whenever you hear like even like high blood pressure medication may cause suicidal thoughts and blah blah. It's like all these crazy side effects and we still give it to people.
Yeah.
What?
The advertising on TV too is just it's so rampant. It's so crazy. And it's only, we've heard this a billion times. I think it's maybe Australia or New Zealand and the United States. It's like two countries that allow advertising on TV for pharmaceuticals.
And I don't think we did before. It wasn't allowed before. And I think that's what RFK was saying he was going to get rid of again.
Yeah.
if he came into, like, if he became president, he wouldn't allow it. But isn't it crazy though that we're just so freely able to advertise medication, and we're just so accepting that it could cause side effects, because it's like this, it'll fix one problem, but you're going to have the next problem, and then that problem you'll need another medication for that problem. And that's why health is wealth. That's why doing all the things you need to do to stay healthy, and like going back to like how people will praise someone who is overweight. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whenever I say, for me, it's not about criticizing or being, what are they calling it? Fat phobia. You know what I'm saying right now? Like, or fat phobic or something like that. I forgot. They're calling you something now if you say anything about overweight people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, 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 no. We can make being overweight okay. There's like issues that come with that, like in the future. Like, let's stop encouraging that. Like, it has nothing to do with, yes, girl, it's like, no, girl, you could cause, like, I wish somebody would show a big, like an overweight person's like skeleton, to show like how much more harder it has to work. You know what I'm saying? How much more hard it has, not harder, how much more hard it has to work to pump blood, to keep your body, like hold your body up. That's why a lot of people have knee problems, you know what I'm saying, when they're so overweight, or you know what I'm saying, they get tired so fast.
How many 60-year-old 400-pound people do you know?
I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're not going to live that long. And I want to go back to what you were saying about the big pretty girls, that are like vying for those influencer contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Us as humans, like we are built to run towards pleasure and away from pain, right? And those girls, instead of just like, let's just hide everything else with this, call it real confidence, or most of the time, let's be real, it's false confidence. It just makes it seem like they're okay with everything. Get this cool makeup deal, get this cool beauty deal. Look at my hair, look at my makeup, but they're still 450 pounds. They're not gonna live long. And instead of having their followers work towards, everybody should go sign up for DLB Daily. Go sign up for her app. Do one of her programs. I promise you, in 8 weeks, you're gonna feel better than you've ever felt in your life.
They're so good. I mean, I pay the subscription. You know what I'm saying?
Doing the challenge. Me doing the challenge.
Yeah, I know. She told me we're doing it. I was like, damn, I wish I could do it, but I'm out. So I said I was going to do the next one. I said, fuck. I was like, that sucks. Like, because I can't. The challenge is 10 weeks.
Yeah, it's
right?
and it started 2 weeks ago already.
It's on the 19th. It started.
Yes.
Yeah, and so then, if I did it, I'm out the rest of the time. So what the fuck am I going to do? And be like, ma'am. No.
Next summer.
I know. So yes, go on there. I'm a big advocate. I mean, I love DLB. What I love the most about it, excuse me, is that I show up to the gym and I don't have to plan my workouts for the week. Does that make sense? Like when I was doing it before, it was like, all right, okay, so Monday I'm going to do legs. I'm going to do this workout. Let me see where I was at last week. I'm still documenting like my weight wise, how much I'm able to lift, because I want to see the difference of pre-hernia, and then post-hernia fix. You know what I'm saying? Like what that's going to feel like, although they do not encourage for you to.
Yeah, just take it slow, Soul. Just take it slow. Get back on your feet.
So I am going to do it this time. I said, I'm not going to not follow rules this time, because I don't want that hernia to come back. It is so painful. Like when it pops out, I was doing abs one day at the gym. I literally just rolled over and was trying to pretend like I was stretching, because I couldn't move, Rob. And I was so embarrassed. I legit left all the equipment there. And, that's one of my biggest pet peeves, when someone leaves their freaking equipment out. It's like, put it up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
re-rack your weight.
Exactly. And so I left the kettlebell there and the mat. And literally, I just pushed the ball like that popped out back in. And I just sat there like this, like curled up. And I was like, oh my God, please let me just walk out of here. I just want to walk out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I was like thinking about. And I finally, like, the pain eased and I got up and I walked out and I just went into my car and I was like, wow. I was like, note to self, do not ever effing attempt to try to do sit-ups again. Like, don't, just give it up. You're not able to do it. Sean, who's my friend slash trainer, he had his repaired and then it happened again. So he just avoids abs or anything that's too strenuous on his like ab area at all costs. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so health is wealth, obviously, right? So that's why I'm going to get everything taken care of, you know, so that I can balance my hormones and you know, get back to being like, you know, to where I see results when I'm trying to do stuff, you know? And so we need to just not be able to encourage stuff like that. I don't think we should encourage big people to be big. I think we need to encourage them to make better food choices. And while a lot of it has to do sometimes with mental issues, meaning whether they're going through depression or they could be going through a breakup, a lot of people turn to food immediately. Like, I'm the opposite. If I'm sad or stressed, I turn away from food. What about you?
It just depends what kind. Usually, yeah, I don't really like eat like, you know, stress
I
eat.
don't have to get hungry. Yeah.
No.
I'm like
The
just
opposite
not into
way.
eating. Yeah, I'm the opposite too. I'm not somebody that turns to food. Food is like the last thing I want to think about. It's just like the thought of food annoys me when I'm like stressed out. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, like
one more thing to think
I gotta
about.
do
Like,
this. Yeah, I gotta do another thing.
yeah, I'm like, man, I got to cook for who? Golly. Like, food is so annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where it goes to. But yeah, I just find it interesting because and I've discovered, I think I talked about this on the last episode, this lady called Little Ray of Health. And man, I've been like, bro, it's just so many things that ruin our hormones as women that is trippy.
Yeah.
It's so trippy. Like, she claims we can balance our hormones through our food, which I can see that totally, but it takes a lot of work. So she always suggests to have a pinch of salt in your water, like slices of lemon in your water. You should have that before you even drink your coffee, which is not something that I do. You're not supposed to drink coffee on an empty stomach.
My favorite.
That's me too. Like, that's my first thing I love to do is to, when I wake up in the morning, is to sip my coffee.
There's
and
a you get it's like a euphoric feeling that it's
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree with that. So when she said that, I was like, "Ooh, girl, I'm gonna have to X that rule out of my life." I'm like, not happening here. Sorry.
Move that one over to the maybe pile, but
yeah, maybe I might consider it later. Can we sip simultaneously? Maybe I do this one, then I do this one.
Yeah,
you know,
there you go. There you
that's
go.
kind of how I do all day long anyway. So
True. That's like how I am with booze. You hydrate while you dehydrate. Like have a drink, then have some water, drink, have some water. But I want to get back to what you and Ilsa were talking about. So let's wrap up the public episode, everybody. Sol's got a busy day ahead of her. So we're doing this, and then we're doing a private episode, which drops every Friday. And when are people gonna maybe see you go dark for a bit?
I'm gonna go what, dark?
Yeah, like in the shadows. You know what I mean? For your surgery.
The 7th. So July 7th is my last day on social media. No, I'm just not going to be on podcasting. I think we're going to have to pre-record probably that week.
Okay.
And then the week after that, I'm supposed to be fine, Rob.
Okay. We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
They said, I don't know. They said I'm supposed to be fine. She said, if you have a sitting job, which I kind of don't, but we do sit for podcasting. She said, you're fine. You know, as long as you're not lifting, carrying a baby, like none of that can happen.
Okay.
For at least the first 2 weeks. And then once I go see them, will know.
Okay.
Like, okay, you're good to go to 10 pounds now, you know what I'm saying? And then you're good to go, blah, blah, blah. So they say it's 8 weeks.
Oof. Okay. But the
I
hardest
know.
part are the first two or so.
They say it's the first week, and then after that, it's like more of a, ugh, it's not comfortable. But after the 2 weeks, you should be pretty good to go.
All right. Cool.
So we'll have to figure it out. It'll probably be a lot of zooming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll bank them and
So
drip them out, and then as you get better to move around and re-record again, then we'll do that.
for sure. Well, pray for me that everything turns out good. We're getting rid of my 4-month pregnant uterus.
Woo.
She will be out, and I will be so happy. And then my belly button will no longer look like the lizard on Sing. So
And then
I
when you
am
see
so
that girl
glad.
at the gym, it'd be like, "Hey, do I look like old Marisol lifts now?"
Yeah, right. I know. I'm like, girl, you don't come up to somebody and say that. It's not encouraging either. And I'm sitting there like, I stopped to chat with you,
Yes, bitch.
and you come at me like that. Okay, bye. I gotta go. Let me finish my set. Thank you. Bye. Thank you guys so much for listening. See y'all Friday.